Handsome in the dark.
Tight.
Yeah. I love making new intros.
You just come up with that shit and just
That's amazing.
Whatever. You just press the buttons.
How long
You
did
go-
that take for you to make?
Like 10 minutes.
That's cool, man.
You know?
welcome
Yeah.
to Hanson in the Dark.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to Sick Monkey Studios. I'm Saul Dominelli, and this is Handsome in the Dark, the official podcast of lawyers telling us to knock it off.
That only happened once, but yeah, that did happen.
Well, it's still most of our listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one way to get listeners.
So, how was your week, Saul?
Our week was just fine. It's just fine. What, you know.
Yeah. I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Well, the weather's turned.
Summer's over.
Crazy good summer. That's one of the best summers I've had.
It was good.
in my life.
Minimal fires. There was a little bit of, well, there was a lot. No, not minimal fires. Minimal smoke in the area that we live in.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Minimal local fires.
Yeah, minimal local fires, which is good for us locally and not good for anyone who's in the fires, which was
The wind
pretty
was in
bad.
our favor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be spreading misinformation about fires. I believe in fires.
They do exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots this year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a stance, right? It's like, I don't even believe that the fires are even a thing.
That could be where the flat earthers turn next.
Right.
Once
Even
they're
though-
finally out of arguments, they'll give up on everything and argue that fire's not real, even when you
He's like,
show
well,
it to
are
them.
you there? Did you see the fire? It's like, I saw videos. The sun is red. That is new. You know? Yeah. Well, yeah. What you want to?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm the next guy to introduce myself.
Yeah. It's just the three of us this time. Mm-hmm. It's
Intimate in the dark.
yeah, intimate.
Intimate in the dark. Yeah. I signed the my separation agreement this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I signed that. Yeah, I had to go and the lawyer reads the whole fucking thing and it just
loud.
takes forever. Yeah, and you're just like, oh my god, I read it. It's like it's not that complicated of language. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. They
But
could have been
yeah.
like Splitsville.
yeah, enough said. Sign here.
She's like, this is you before, and this is you now.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So that's a very I feel like, well, I am an adult, you know, I'm 34 years old, 35 pretty soon.
You're so
It's like,
young.
done a lot of like real like adult shit, you know? Bought houses, bought fucking condos, had renters. Now I've had a separation agreement with lawyers and shit.
That's
It's very
well
grown up. Right?
That's a very like mid-30s into the 40s thing.
Yeah.
But you get like separated.
Yeah.
It's like
it happens. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
I don't know that I handled it like
you
that
handled
adult.
it great. I think you did.
Emotionally, I did. Yeah, but I would say like I wasn't that adult about it. I said some shit on
on this podcast.
on the pod that,
Yeah.
that maybe wasn't like that cool of a thing to do, and I recognize that. You
Yeah,
know,
I think we recognized it when it was happening.
yeah. In the
And
start,
it's been retracted.
in the start of the pod, there was a lot of excitement, and you didn't really realize it. It's like, yeah, of course anybody can listen to this, and
We
a
didn't
lot of
even-
things were said, and
We didn't even know that it was really real.
Yeah.
Like, I just set up some mics and was like, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah,
and
we
I
were-
don't think anybody, like, including myself, was like, is this even something we'll continue doing past the next 20 minutes?
Yeah.
You know?
The first ones went. I mean, if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, and you've probably heard the first episode, they're like pretty loose because we were just a bunch of dudes, and it's like I hadn't seen my friends in like a fucking year. because of COVID, right?
Yeah,
So it's like things kind of like eased up a bit, and we had some friends over, and I was really fucking excited.
We were excited, and we talked about our shit like we would do in our personal lives when you hadn't seen your friends in a long time, and you were just letting everything out.
Yeah, and it was a big scary step for me, right? It was a big scary step, and some of the sexual stuff, it was like that was new and it was exciting, and it was it was fun to talk about, right? That's where I was at.
It was jingle and song worthy.
Yeah, and it was fun, and it made for some funny jokes and shit. But that part of my life is soon going to be behind me, and I got no hard feelings or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
we gotta just move on. Yeah. It's the only thing you can do, right?
Yeah, I hope her the best. I think everything will. I hope she has a good life.
Yeah. In the end, why would you wish anybody to have anything but that?
Yeah,
right?
and she did a really good job. She's. I hope she's getting what she wants out of it. And I was like, nice. When I was signing the papers, I was like, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, that's really good. Yeah, because I had a situation similar, separation, and it dragged out for many, many years.
Yeah.
Because, there's always hesitation to sign this or sign that. And, that is a really good feeling when that.
Well, it was quite fair. It was quite fair, and it made a lot of logical sense. There was things that maybe I didn't like the look of on paper, but when you put everything into a pot and you really thought about it, it was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah,
this all makes sense. Overall, like what I get and what she gets, I thought, I was like, yeah, I think that's pretty fair overall. Why not?
As long as it's fair enough.
Well,
you
and
just take it and go.
Yeah, and it's like when it's the difference of sorry, we're just getting into my shit, I guess, but
we're launching right into it.
It's like when it's the difference of call it like 20 grand. It's like, okay, this could have been worth $20,000 more, and then you get half of that, right? So it's like, okay, so 10 grand, but then it's like money that's not even real. It's like equity. So it's like, okay, it's like, and it's maybe that amount. And then when you factor in possible lawyer fees or realtor fees and shit like that, it's like, okay, so I could have gotten $7,000 more and fucked someone else's life over. It's like, well, what's the point in that? I already kind of fucked their life over, right? So it's like,
did you?
No, but whatever. I just I feel very at peace about it, and I truly hope that it's it worked out as best as it could have for the other.
Yeah, you
party.
Feeling at peace about it is the best case scenario, really. I mean, these things a lot of the time go south for a long time, like Tyler just said. I mean, it can drag on for years, and people just stay in each other's lives, making each other miserable for an unnecessary amount of time, and that's not happening in this situation. And
yeah, hopefully, yeah, it's I know people I got this gym friend. He's like, oh, you're going through that shit, man. My ex is a fucking bitch. I fucking hate her. I had to go through lawyers and spend $10,000. It's like, you sound like a fucking idiot, man. That's what he sounds like to me. It's like, oh, that fucking bitch. It's like, dude, come on,
what if
man.
she was hecking him around way more? Then it's the details. It could be pretty bad sometimes. I mean,
it could be, but still, it's like it's nicer to be at peace.
It's
right?
so
better.
I think
it's easier.
Sometimes when you really go all out like that, fuck that bitch. Blah,
it's like you're still in love with her.
It's like you're shirking your part. You are partly responsible.
Oh yeah,
and it's like you're trying to act like you're not. And
that's
it's like it's a bitch move.
Yeah, and and that's the thing too. It's like you can look at it on paper, and you're like, well, I could probably get more on the market for this place, but it's like, but she wants to live there because she likes the house and she has an emotional connection to it. And it's like, who the fuck am I to stop somebody from living in a place they want to live in? Why would I do that? That doesn't benefit me for what, a few grand? No.
I don't understand. When people separate and they don't have kids, it really should be. It should go pretty similar to what happened with you guys. I mean, I think a lot of the time, if people have an actual legitimate gripe, it's like there's kids involved and people are claiming things happened that didn't, and then custody, that kind of stuff, that can get pretty messy.
That is messy.
Yeah, if somebody has some complaints in that department, they feel they're wronged in regards to their kids in custody, or paying $2,000 a month to someone else that Anyways,
we aren't supposed to smoke in here.
I thought a little bit of weed was okay.
It is this time.
Okay, sweet.
You did it so casual. Anyway, moving on for me. Tyler,
divorce.
How was your week, buddy?
That was my week. It was a good week. I started a big job. But, that's just work shit, so whatever. But today I went we went down, did a bit of digging on the mountain there.
Just some digging.
Looking for the old railroad, the old Burke Mountain Railroad.
Oh, that's really cool, man.
There's one trail that will take you kind of down to Crystal Falls, and it kind of winds through this. It's side hills and winds through all these gullies as you go down. But we knew a train went through there, so we're trying to figure out how. And it turns out they had these like 6 magnificent trestle bridges built there, totally gone now. But today we were down in those gullies with our metal detectors digging up. We found several like sections of old rail, and but the funniest part of that story, the funny part of that story was the guy who was kind of the most into this, and the grandfather of it all. Dude's like 82 years old, and it was so steep getting in there. Like I had trouble myself, and he was like he tied himself to a rope. And he was like falling down the cliff and shit. And he's like, he won't stop. He won't stop until he
82
digs all this up. Yeah.
Is there any like old pictures of these like
very few?
Huh.
There are old
some
pictures. Yeah.
It's actually news to me. I didn't even know that.
Is it so? And that was the rail was on this side or on the other side of the river?
It started in Port Moody, at Old Mill Park, which is there right now, and then followed Guilford Way to Pipeline Road, essentially before Guilford was there, and then it goes up, crosses the Coquitlam River, and then heads on up to Crystal Falls.
That's cool, man. That's that's an interesting thing you did today.
It's way
that's
more interesting than anything I did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, they had metal detectors and everything.
Yeah,
we had metal detectors, and
old
shovels, and one time we found a rail down in a creek way up on over 1,200 feet up the mountain. Because we found out it went that far, and there was a rail down in a gully in a creek, and we wanted to get it out, and so we came back 3 times. One time with an actual engine hoist that we tied to a tree, and 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch lifted it up and onto the trail. So
trippy.
Now there for people to just see as they walk by.
And you did that.
that's fucking cool.
Yeah,
man.
I found it and got some people involved who were like 80.
Yeah, and they're all right.
Yeah, they're.
You sounded. You really.
They, I think it's why they're still doing this kind of shit because they never stopped. They're the kind of old person who realizes that if they stop moving and being active, it's fucking over.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah,
and
things just fail on you because they're not in practice.
Like down at the museum in Poco there, where we used to have our meetings pre-pandemic. I had a few there, and then I noticed, it's just me and like 5 80-year-old dudes. And like they keep telling the same story over and over and over, which is actually fine because that way I remember every detail for the rest of my life. I will.
Right.
But yeah, it's, after a short amount of time, it's going to be like just me, I guess.
They like 5 years. Yeah.
Like what?
That'll be a weird thing for you. When your fucking crew is
the heritage crew is nobody.
Well, you're just gonna have to recruit some people younger than you, and then you'll be the next generation. You'll be the old generation.
My daughter, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
I do take her metal detecting. She actually has a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah,
it's exciting, cool. Right? You find treasures,
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to do. I'm genuinely interested in what you're saying. Like, it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's one of the coolest. Like, this is what I did this weekend thing. Yeah,
I've always wanted to take my metal detector to like say after they have a big concert in the park or something, and just go through the grass or
find some pipes.
Go to the beach after a long weekend, and
you'd find like watches and shit
find,
like that.
Watch, ring,
crack pipes,
coin, and if it really looked important to someone, I think you would probably put it up
for sure. You put up a sign, be like, "Hey, like I found this shit," and if nobody claims it, then it's yours. It's up for grabs, right?
Yeah.
It goes in the lost and found bin at your house.
Just post it on Reddit.
on the heritage, on the Poco Heritage.
Yes,
Society
the smallest
site.
possible Reddit.
Yeah.
Is this anyone's? No. Okay.
Yeah. Who lost us $600
in gold bullion?
You put it going to MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I knew I shouldn't have brought my gold to the beach.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, I think that's a sign that, and one day if we ever get sponsors, we'll have to maybe pick which ones to go with. And I find that sometimes the podcasts that have their sponsors are gold, silver,
Really?
or if they're VPNs, it's always a bad sign.
Oh, I find a lot of them, their first one is like adamandeve.com.
Really?
What is adamandeve.com?
They sell sex toys and stuff.
Oh.
Lubes and sex toys.
Go to adamandeve.com?
Yeah, go to adamandeve.com. You can get yourself a really good selection of toys, of adult toys and lubes and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I asked Kyle, our podcast manager, about getting sponsors, and he was like, "You guys aren't there yet."
Yeah, I'd like to
listen,
wait till
that's
we
why
have
I say,
40 episodes.
Fuck it, we'll do it without them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Can you get in trouble for advertising someone's product? Like,
Oh, I don't think so.
Well,
like we have a
maybe.
Coca-Cola can in the shot here. I mean, is that?
Yeah.
Man, I love drinking Coca-Cola though. I drink the Coke Zeros, and it's
Coke Zeros.
it's just changing my fucking life.
It was a good idea for them to not just be like, it's new Diet Coke. They had to
They made a different
rebrand,
thing, yeah.
and it's better.
I used to
It
think
is
that
better.
these Diet Coke products, were for geeks,
Uh-huh.
which in a way they are. But also,
Yeah.
I'm almost 40. It's like I don't need to put like 18 tablespoons of sugar in my body at one time either.
It's not good for you.
It's
Yeah.
it's
know?
been a really good thing. It's been a really good thing for me, like dieting, because it's like you really want something fucking sweet, and it's like, or you're just like kind of hungry, and it's like, oh, I'll just have a can of Coke Zero, and you know what I mean? It like gets you through that like craving without like fucking up. So it's like, even if it is maybe like not that great for your health, even though scientifically it's aspartame is fine. According to studies.
Yeah, so that's a weird thing is like over time it's become somewhat clear that like obviously the sugar industry was really trying to discredit any type of new sugar substitute because like when you put actual white sugar against all these things, it's like white sugar is known to be like one of the worst things you could put in your body.
Yeah.
So what are you measuring it against? It's like aspartame maybe has some things that fuck you up in certain regards, but like white sugar that
definitely does. There's no question. Yeah, there's no
definitely is
question.
terrible for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I also shaved my beard and my head this week.
You look strong.
I had a big ass beard, man. I think it was longer than Tyler's beard. It was pretty long.
Do you think it was longer than him?
I don't know if it was longer, but it was bigger.
Yeah, I had a big beard.
It was thick.
It's like,
It was thicker. Yeah. It was good.
yeah.
I like that look too, but I'm a scruffy fuck. And
I like being scruffy. I like being scruffy, but it feels really good like this. Like it's like when I dry myself off after the shower, it's like I'm actually dry. I run a towel.
I imagine that because
Ooh,
I've
beauty.
had long
It's
hair
great,
since I've been like 14 or 13, and I know how good it would feel if I shaved it all off. But I'm also a little afraid that it's going to grow back all fucking
it's gonna grow back stupid.
It's going to grow back stupid. I'm just going to encourage my hair to continue in the way it does, and and so
The
far so
locks.
good.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah.
The length of my hair now is fun because anytime I say, "Oh man, I really need a haircut," people usually laugh. So it's always good to get a laugh.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to talk a little bit about what day we happen to be streaming on today, and
Oh, you mean the day that's the day after the new Matrix trailer came out?
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
derailed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We could talk about
By
that.
the way, I didn't watch that yet.
The trailer.
No, I didn't.
Damn.
Oh, it'd be nice if we could do that, but fuck it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been a
Yeah.
really good time to do that. It looks fucking sweet, dude. I thought it
Cool.
looked. I stopped watching it because I thought that maybe it was telling me a little bit too much about the plot. Because I was like, this looks fucking sick. And I was like, I'm gonna wait.
It was just it crossed that line just a touch. I've seen worse.
It looks
But,
fucking good.
Yeah, at a
We
certain point.
won't know until we see the movie. It might have given everything away.
Well,
But
yeah,
you have to
you'll
know-
find out
you'll
later
find out.
exactly how much it felt like. It was like, okay, like I'm getting a sense of like the beginning, middle, and maybe part of the end of this movie. And then maybe you're wrong when you actually watch the movie, and I hope I am.
Yeah.
But I certainly was like, okay, wrap it up. And then at the end, it was just action, and you're like, okay, that's good.
You know what would be really cool is if they just like scrubbed any evidence of the trailer and that sort of shit, and everyone remembers the trailer and like, hey, isn't that new Matrix supposed to come out? And people are like, what new Matrix?
That never existed.
You know, if they like
shit.
Mandela affected us, like they were just like, "What are you talking about? There was no
That would
trailer."
be some Matrix
you
style
try to
shit,
find
right?
a trailer, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm actually in." And that's what the Matrix movie was. It's just you thinking you're in the fucking Matrix.
Yeah.
You just gave that away for free.
Yeah, that was tight.
Dude.
That was tight. That's a cool idea.
That would have been so cool.
Everybody's mind. It's like media has changed. Now we're fucking psyopsing you into making your own damn movie. You punk bitch.
The trailer lives in your mind.
That would be
now.
fucking tight.
You know, I was pleasantly surprised by the Matrix trailer because my expectations were really low because anytime a franchise tries to like reinvigorate itself after 20 years,
like what they did after 10 years, and they made those 2 movies that were kind of shitty.
Was it actually 10 years? Wasn't it like 5?
It was a decent amount of time. It was
I almost did some fact checking.
We don't fact check, but
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's more like 5.
Yeah,
but
then they came out like a month after each other and shit like that. Like Back to the Future 2
the
and 3,
second
actually.
and third movie are like you could regard them as one long movie. It's not really like, you know, it runs right into one another. But I mean, like, yeah, my expectations were really low. Like a lot of reboots or whatever, soft reboots or whatever you want to call it, have been pretty lackluster. And also, like, we just watched the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and apparently people think it looks dope, but when we watched it, it was like, that looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was
aside from like Doc Ock returning, which I get, like that's cool, and like all the throwbacks to the original Spider-Man movies, which I do love, except for the third one. But like we were watching it, and it was like, turn this fucking shit off.
Well, it was so fucking hokey.
Even for a trailer,
the trailer was like, that is an unimpressive trailer,
dude. Yeah, Doctor Strange is like, don't worry about it. We're buddies now. We've been to space together. And he's like, well, could you fuck up the fabric of space time for me? Because it's unfortunate. He's like, yeah, sure, yeah. Why wouldn't I?
It's literally the plot.
Like, what the fuck?
I was like, really? So
here.
Spider-Man's like, everybody found out that I'm Spider-Man. Doctor Strange, can you manipulate reality for this trivial? You know, it's not trivial to him, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's like, just deal with it, bro. But like Doctor Strange is like, yeah, sure. And like the guy, what's his name? Part
the
of
sidekick.
the sidekick of Doctor Strange was like, you shouldn't do that. And then he like goes to a portal, and Doctor Strange is like, I'm gonna do it.
He like winked at him like it's a fucking I Love Lucy episode.
Yeah, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah, man, it was.
I checked.
It's not working out. It's like, yeah, dude, are you fucking serious? So now He's
like, don't talk while I'm doing the spell. Don't talk while I'm doing the spell. You're fucking it up. And Tom Holland for Spider-Man keeps talking.
Yeah.
He's like this dude is manipulating reality.
And he's talking like he's fucking Michael Cera in Arrested Development. You know what I mean? He's all like awkward, like, it's like, get the fuck out of here. You're like, it's like, so now we have like, it's like how many of these heroes in these movies have been like the cause of catastrophic damage?
Clowns.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? Maybe the fucking Accords were a good call. You know, like I don't know,
in
man.
hindsight, maybe they need those Accords.
Yeah, I mean, they need to be held accountable. Fuck.
Yeah, you haven't seen the Marvel stuff, but you would know about the Accords.
I lost interest a long time ago because I don't know. It's like, dude, where is all the money for those movies coming from anyway? Like the ticket sales. I mean, like it's like the age group of 12 to 16-year-olds.
Oh, well,
they kind of have to.
I mean, like that's a part of it. I mean, there's a lot of like. There's a lot of people like us who, for some reason, care about Spider-Man so much that I'm going to continue watching Spider-Man movies that aren't even very good.
Right. I probably have a skewed vision of that because I don't watch them.
You're not a
so
Spider-Man
to me,
guy.
Adults don't watch them.
Yeah.
But they do.
A lot of people do watch them. Yeah,
Yeah.
They make a lot of money.
Even when I was like, you know, it's like the superhero universe is like, this is a bit much. There's so many of them. I always knew inside, it's like, I'm going to get around to him because I'm committed to superhero shit because I just grew up that way. I love superheroes.
You know what I like about it?
It's an emotional thing.
You know what I like about it? Is it like in real life, there's so many like anxieties and so many problems and so much like worrying about something that's like not in your control, right? So for me, it's like, I was worried about like, I want to get, you know, this money from selling my places and then buy another place. And like, you know what I mean? It's like there are anxieties and it's like, I hope that work is still good in a year. I hope I'm able to like provide. I hope I'm able to like be healthy. I hope.
Yeah. We need the escapism.
But in a comic book movie, they just have to kick somebody's ass. It's fucking simple. It's like, I just have to kick that guy's ass. And at first, they don't punch him hard enough. And then the next time, they punch him a bit fucking harder. And they figure it the fuck out. And it's like, that's what I like about them. It's like easy problem, easy solution. hard, maybe in the face.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, that's very cathartic. It's very cathartic to watch, where it's like a movie where they're just fucking kicking each other's asses, jumping onto the roof of a car, you know, shit like that. It's like, I like it for that reason. It's like, what's the problem? This guy's trying to kill me. What's the solution? Kill that guy. It's like,
that's how fucking,
I like that.
That's how Hugh Jackman's fucking Wolverine carried an X-Men franchise for fucking 16 years or whatever it was. It's just like half of the movies weren't very good and half of them were excellent, but even the bad ones, you watch the guy just like fucking take care of business with his claws and his yells, and it just does it for me.
Yeah,
you know?
if we could get some feedback, if you could send an email to handsomeinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com about how you feel about the nerd talk, because I'm liking it. I'm liking the nerd talk.
I'm a nerd at heart.
I'd like to
I
see
talk about nerd shit.
I get pretty excited, as you can tell.
I'm also a nerd, but not in that way. But you can,
Yeah. No,
well, you're like a Poco history nerd, which was also pretty styling.
That's true. I did show that off a little. Yeah,
that was pretty cool, man. I'm liking this episode.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
by the way, I offer guided tours. So
you know what?
Email handsomeinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Maybe
reach out.
Maybe we should get together. Like if you bring your daughter. Me and Alex can come up with her daughter, and that would be that would be a nice day.
Bring the dog out,
I wish I had dogs.
Go to Crystal Falls, do the old school Poco thing, but I'll also be pointing things out like a nerd.
You know what? That actually sounds like it would be a really nice day. Yeah. It sounds like it would be a really nice day.
You're like, that's where a minor died in 18.
There is. I won't. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
That's fine. Yeah, we don't want to spoil the. We don't want to spoil the surprises that might come up during an expedition. Like, look,
this is what died in the '90s. Being able to be like, shut up, nerd. Which you should have done there, maybe.
Yeah, I should have done that. And you watch, if you watch things like Saved by the Bell or pretty much any programming from the 80s and 90s, they go hard on the nerds. Like, there's no nerds that are healthy. They're all not only do they have glasses, which makes them automatically smart in the world of 80s and 90s, they also have asthma 100% of the time and skin rashes and
pale skin.
And it's like Michael Cera turned that around, didn't he?
Well, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, and how there was a Michael Cera-esque character in this movie, and it's weird. It's like, my daughter kind of had a crush on Michael Cera for a bit, and I was like, why? It was like, because he's so weak. She's like, he's so awkward.
Yeah.
He's so awkward. I don't know.
That's what she said. Yeah, and that was doing it for it. It
was weird.
The attractions.
I get it, kind of. I kind of got off a bit on his awkwardness when I watched Superbad. Sure.
No, it was a little bit liberating to see a character being that's one of the main characters of a teen movie that was so awkward in such a relatable way. I was just like that. I tried to talk to a girl and it would go so poorly, and it always really reminded me of you and me. That dynamic. When I watched that movie, I was like, man, that's me. That's me.
Pineapple Express too was really kind of like you and me. Well, a little bit less so.
That guy's name was Saul.
Yeah,
and he wore a shirt much like I used to wear at the time when the movie came out. And I was like, people were like, that's you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that Superbad in particular was a pretty big turnaround for the world of nerds. Was now you're the protagonist and main character of stories, and that trend continued for a long time, being super awkward and not being successful.
So why did Hollywood conspire all of a sudden to go from hating nerds to making us love nerds? What's their angle?
I would say probably it has to do with money.
It's got to have something to do with something bad.
I think
Hollywood is up to no good.
Hear me
we
out.
can all agree on that.
Hear me out.
Loving nerds is probably not okay, boys. We got to be careful.
I think I got something here. It's like somebody that was like that wrote a movie, and then they made it, and then it made a bunch of money, and they were like, let's make as much money as we can. Yeah, so remake the same thing over and over and over
again. And they
again.
Certainly did that.
They do that.
They did that. They remade that movie, those movies over and over again. I watched all the Michael Cera movies that came out within there were somehow 7 movies within 5 years.
Scott Pilgrim is a fucking fantastic movie.
It's great.
It's an adventure.
Yeah.
There were some other ones that happened that I didn't even know about. It was Michael Cera movie.
Was he the guy in Juno?
Yep.
Yeah, he's in Juno.
He's not in it a lot.
No, just a bit. He does
I remember.
Yeah.
It was
There was another.
It wasn't about the father.
Also, his dad is.
that's
his
why
dad.
it won
Her
awards.
dad is the guy. What's his name?
Jason
The guy-
Bateman, right?
No. Jason Bateman's
Was the dude that was trying to get
No, it's like
with
the
him.
guy that played J. Jonah Jameson in the original Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
That actor is fucking awesome.
He's also in the end of the second Spider-Man movie.
That's cool.
That was one of the only
that
good
guy is
things.
an amazing actor.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's in that movie Whiplash. Did you see that movie?
I never saw that one.
He's fucking awesome. Like, really good.
Every
in it.
time that guy's on camera, it's funny.
Too bad we don't know
Did
his
one.
fucking name, eh?
I should.
I'm gonna look up his name.
Whoa.
That's dangerous.
Whoa.
We gotta. If we're talking about a fucking guy, we should at least know his name,
If
right?
someone in chat happens to tell us,
Is
that's
there-
on them.
Is there anyone in chat?
There's some people in chat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I see different colors there.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that guy's cool.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
And I don't know what it means to bring him back into the Spider-Man universe, but it means something.
It means something to me.
Yeah.
It means something to me.
I think I'm just going to when we release this, we're going to edit out what I'm saying right now, and also the thing about researching something. It's better that we never research anything.
No, I think we should keep it
didn't,
in as a
We didn't?
reminder to the audience.
Keep
I
it
didn't
in.
fact check.
Keep it in.
I almost did. I almost fact checked like a fucking bitch.
Yeah,
Should that,
you
at least you can
forgot
admit that now.
our policies sometimes will slip your mind.
You know what? I'm not a perfect person by
And
any
if
stretch.
we'll know who our true fans are if they also refuse to fact check. That's
Right.
going to be sweet.
That is sweet.
Yeah, I want to see people arguing with their own facts in the chat.
Just made up facts.
Made up whatever they happen to believe, which is how the internet works entirely now. But, for our chat, I like that.
So, Saul, I heard you were having some political ideals.
I have some political ideas.
Yeah, why don't you rap about it, man?
Is it
Rap about
ideas or ideals?
It could be both.
What are you fact checking or talking now?
We live in Canada. There's an election coming up for us.
That's true. Coming
So
up very
this
soon.
is this is
September.
This is
September
topical.
20th.
It's 20th.
20th.
You want to talk about your right to choose?
Am I right to choose
Yeah.
to smoke?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, and I actually looked up the papers, like, what do you need to actually do to create your own political party? And it doesn't seem like there's much. It's a couple forms.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
okay.
I want to start the Canadian Smokers Party of Canada.
Oh.
Tight.
Okay.
Okay. And, the premise will be like, you write it out. You say, it's like, okay, listen. In the past, it maybe went a little bit far. People were smoking in hospitals. People were smoking in grocery stores.
Airplanes, yeah.
In restaurants, airplanes. That's not great.
No.
But public spaces, outside, I think we need to bring that back. I was on a ferry recently, outside on the deck, and there's not even one spot where you're allowed to smoke.
Yeah, like a Disneyland probably doesn't have smoking areas.
But
anymore.
people smoke. Some people smoke still, and it's vaping too. You're not allowed to vape,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, I think that we just need to bring it back a little bit. So I got things written down. We could call ourselves the Progressive Regressives, or
The Progressive Regressive Party.
I think that
or Canadian Smokers Party slogans like freedom never looked so cool. Could be pictures of us with us, in our leather jackets or our suits, smoking our cigars, on our Harleys, smoking
Yeah.
our cigarettes.
we
And
should have a guy like working, like he's like cutting something.
Have a guy working.
He's using like tin snips and one of his eyes is closed because there's smoke in his
because
mouth.
it's
That's
getting in his
always
eye a little
fucking cool.
bit, and he's not going to say anything about how his
I
eye
think-
stings because that's cool.
We should lower the age of being able to buy cigarettes to 16.
16. That's
16.
You've got
That's-
pubes.
You don't have any friends. You're feeling out of place. Bam. Buy a pack of smokes. Go to the smoke pit.
Find a friend.
Bam.
Find a friend.
Bam.
Find a friend.
And the symbol should be like one of those like smoking, like no smoking signs, and then a no through that. So it's like no smoking.
Bigger no smoking.
Yeah.
Right through that.
And then people that were against it would get one that's
perfect.
that,
Perfect.
like the no smoking sign with a like X through it, and then have that with an X through it. So it's
Yeah,
like
I-
fucking non-smoking or smoking inception.
I think there's a fair amount. I couldn't imagine. I think you get some support. I'm not sure. You might be able to, eventually win a few seats and just have some decision making
And
power.
God help us all.
You
You know,
it's possible. Like, how many people still smoke in Canada? I don't know. I'm not going to look it up, but
you could
probably quite a bit.
if you include vapors in there. It's
100% of the people in this room.
Yeah.
100% of the Canadians
of this
in
survey
this room.
Yeah. This survey
Holy
is 100%.
We just made a fucking political party.
Margin of error.
And what? So you were going to say, like, what does it take to actually like establish yourself as a political party?
It's just a couple forms, and you have to like
really?
send them in. And
It's like
I did
it's
read
like the CEA 187 form
there
or whatever.
were some
You fill
forms.
it in.
You have to. There has to be a political leader. There has to be one person that registers it. And I think that I may have read that like there might be some veto powering on the electoral like political party chief. There's a position, somebody in government that reviews all the political parties.
I believe we
send them the pod, right?
Yeah, send them the pod.
We do allow write-in voting here, though. I believe.
Write-in voting.
I believe that we
right,
do.
you can just write in the party that
so
you want.
it is technically possible to circumvent like all of that as long as you were able to drive a media campaign, which we're trying.
I don't want to bog down the platform with too much, but there was a little bit more to the platform. It's like, okay,
Can
let's
you get those shirts made?
Yeah, I will get those shirts made. We just need to do a photo shoot of us looking great smoking, and then we put those on the shirt. Cool. And but like, okay, so the platform, bring back smoking in public places, create smoking areas in places for people to go smoke away from other people. It's a reasonable policy. Like, have a place, and bring back ashtrays to garbage cans, bring them back, and also bring back phone booths.
Yeah, there'd be less cigarette butts.
Public phone booths. I think we need to bring that back.
They don't make garbage cans like that anymore.
No, they don't, because they don't want you
right.
to have. They want you to
like,
litter.
I'm
They
sure
should
I've
have them
seen
at
one
beaches.
of those.
Like at beaches, it's
They
like
don't, I don't even think they have them in front of 7-Eleven anymore.
No, they're gone.
Oh,
This is a reasonable policy.
No, 7-Eleven has to have.
No, we were there, dude.
Yeah, they're gone.
We were
There's
there
no
like 2 weeks
ashtrays.
ago, or
shit.
3 weeks ago after the podcast. We all walked down there
And what does that achieve? People still smoke, and then they have nowhere to put their butts.
Yeah.
Do you want the butts in the street, or do you want them in an ashtray?
the proper receptacle.
It's a disposable. Yeah, it's I mean, and then as far as the rest of the platform, we'll just copy the rest of one of the other major
Smokers'
platforms.
rights now.
Aside from that,
Really? Yeah.
just wing it. People,
Whatever.
you just ask you questions, and you just make up an answer.
It shouldn't
on the
be
spot.
that hard if you're just pro smoking. You should be able to.
Well,
just,
if you
you should be
That's
able
the
to.
centerpiece.
if you're like it's your turn to talk and you just like 1 second. pull out
out of your
pull
sleeve.
out a smoke out of
Pull
your
it-
sleeve.
Pull it out of your sleeve.
Light that shit up. One eye closed because it's going up your face and you just like
Like, I forgot what you
And let's be like,
were saying. What was the question again? And need I say
Never
more?
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, need I say
leaning
more?
on something.
Yeah.
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 You know what? This might be way easier than we think. Holy shit.
We get like a shocking amount of the vote. It just, people are just like, you know what? All the political parties, I don't believe in them, but these people are at least bringing concrete, simple ideas that are going to resonate with a certain demographic.
It'll turn out that we sink the PPC because it turns out that all of those people are smokers. It will turn out that way.
Well, they probably do smoke.
But
quite
then
a
we
bit,
will
yeah.
get credit for taking down the PPC
Right.
for reasons that we didn't do it for. And
Right.
then we'll get even more popular boys.
That
So,
would be good. That's part of the progressive part of the regressive.
We can achieve
progressives.
all of this in 9 days.
Yeah, we have time to start this party before the next election. I'm gonna write my own
4
fucking
years.
shit.
Yeah, we'll still be doing fucking live streams to 6 people.
And we could get it done for this election.
Oh,
If we're
this one.
crafty enough, we have like 9 days,
We could vote for ourselves.
and then we would be in the records.
it will actually be in the record.
We'll be in the records. I'll look into the forms. I'll print them out, and I'll send them to whatever person who's going to be like, "That's not the thing," and I'll throw it in the garbage, and then
The Gestapo might come and arrest us for fucking with the system, but
you get taken away immediately.
it's a good thing we don't live in Australia.
Well, that's true.
But
Well-
it is. I did want to say it is. Unless you have anything to add.
No, that's pretty much all I got for the Smokers Party of Canada. Smoking never looks, freedom never looks so cool. Progressives.
So many good slogans.
Just so
You did good, man. You did.
you
did
convinced
good. I'm proud
me
of
to
you.
vote for you. So whether you do these forms or not,
you're gonna write me in.
I'm going to write you in.
You also wrote that fucking sick electronic beat at the start of the episode. Like
I've been doing some.
That
I've been
got
doing
my
some
vote.
things.
Yeah.
dude. Like
I
I'm impressed, man. That was a good segment. A lot of times when you come up with segments, people are like, "Yeah, nah." It's
That
like, on to the
doesn't
next thing.
happen.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, whatever, man. That's just the way the fucking smokers smoke.
I was just gonna say when I said we're 9 days from the election, it made me realize what day it is today, and
Yeah.
it's actually a really important day.
Yeah. A very serious
for
day.
for a lot of people, like especially around here in Poco,
Especially.
you know, like your brother-in-law's birthday is today, and my sister's
Right.
Yeah,
birthday is
that's
today.
crazy.
So we
That's
actually have a
wild.
lot of people in the family whose birthdays
You know
on
what?
September 11th.
That brother, the brother-in-law, that whole family actually lost a shitload of investments on 9/11
Yeah.
Really?
because the towers went down. They like lost hundreds of thousands
No
of dollars
shit, eh?
because they're the kind of family that had investments.
Huh.
Fuck,
And
that
the
was
fucking-
not smart
not-
of them.
Well, apparently, in hindsight, yeah, it probably was actually very smart.
Shouldn't invest in anything. Not smart.
Yeah, but
The building-
apparently having a birthday on that day, especially if you're a family that lost money, is a huge bummer, and it continues to be a bummer for many years.
Oh yeah, fuck,
Yeah.
because it was on his birthday. Such
yeah.
an idiot. I forgot that part already.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
That
it's
sucks,
like,
dude.
what a horrible
Yeah.
fucking
Jesus
thing that
Christ.
happened, eh?
It was a really bad thing that happened. A
It's
lot
like
of people
they're
died.
having family breakfast, like birthday breakfast together, and then the news changes.
you know what's an interesting thing?
That's a
about-
hard morning to go through.
You know,
Holy fuck.
an
was.
interesting thing about 9/11 is at the time, because it was 2001, which you think of as like fairly recent, but it was 20 fucking years ago. There was floors and floors and floors just filled with paper. Like they didn't have, like, everything wasn't on computers. Like
Yeah, they
just
hadn't-
had
they hadn't made that transition
files
yet.
and shit like that. Like floors and floors and floors. So the fire was like extra fucking hot.
right. 'Cause-
Can you imagine that? It's like when like first responders showed up, like when firemen showed up, they fucking looked up at the towers and they knew. Nobody thought it was coming down.
Oh, well,
but
is
they
that-
knew
I
that they
was
knew
gonna
that
say,
they weren't going to come down.
is
They,
that-
they
is
knew
that
that they were
also-
going in and they weren't coming back out.
Is that
And
why-
they still walked up 100 flights of fucking stairs?
Is that why it came down so easily? Because of the weight of all that paper?
It was a hotter fire. It was a hot fire.
Paper is heavy. Like, if you know.
It's also
You don't
it's
think
like,
it's that heavy, but if you've ever done
You
a
stack
paper
it
now
up.
imagine you have a crazy fire going on and then you throw stacks and stacks and stacks of paper on it. That's going to
Yeah.
make it quite the fucking fire.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Of course,
like,
of course.
it was a really hot fire. It's like that added fuel to the fire, right?
Yeah.
But that's not, I'm not trying to say,
plus
I'm not,
the jet fuel.
I don't think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
plus
was
the
gonna-
jet
I was
fuel.
going to say that.
I don't know the structural integrity of buildings.
Yeah, I mean,
They sure look like they were demolished. Fuck
Well-
it, I'll say it right now. They fell straight the fuck down.
Oh,
So
that,
was
is
it,
that where we're going with this? Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Then,
know.
yeah.
I think this is one of those.
I just, before we start, let's take a quick
We'll take
moment of silence for real
we
for the
actually should.
victims
Okay, yeah, we
of
will-
September
we will,
11th. I want that to be
for-
acknowledged.
Yeah, for anybody who suffered a tragedy during that day.
1 minute.
I think that's probably enough.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually out of respect. That was not a joke.
Yeah.
If I
For
had
sure.
a dream
So we
in
can
that
now
amount of
talk
time,
about the-
it would have lasted 5 years.
Well, that's true.
So
That's science.
So there's different.
He's like, I wanted to establish that before.
Yeah, you know how a dream lasts 6 seconds, but it's the longest dream you've ever had.
It can be like that.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we could apply that logic somehow to the fact that we didn't give them the minute.
Wow, that blew my fucking mind. Like Building 7.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
now that we've established all the respect that we need to legitimately, I think September 11th is still one of those things that is a legitimate conspiracy theory you're actually allowed to talk about still.
It gained traction at first. It was like they were all kooks, but then I remember it's like 2 or 3 years ago I talked to my dad. I was like, yeah, I really, for a long time I thought those guys were just fucking crazy, but a lot of weird shit happened on 9/11.
It's a weird-
like
it's-
a lot of, and he was like, yeah, there's some things that don't really seem to add up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It was like-
anybody who is watching it, like, there were no real explanations given for certain things. They're like Building 7. It's just like, yeah, that one, it just collapsed. And you're like, okay. And like,
They don't make them like they used to. Am I right?
the weird thing is that there was an actual, like, association of, like, engineers that got together to be like,
I remember
what
these
the
things.
fuck is going on.
This is all coming back to me now, boys.
With the way the beams are cut. Like, there's like legitimate engineers who are like, that looks fucked.
Yeah.
And we're all going to come together to form an association to be like, what's going on here?
I think they were the ones who said that, jet fuel can't melt steel beams, but they found molten steel beams in ground zero. There were pools of molten steel.
Yeah.
Right, but how would that
In the
happen?
aftermath.
Even from a controlled demolition, would that happen?
Because thermite can melt steel.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, if that's like, to bite something someone says on another podcast, big if true.
Yeah. Big if
Well,
true.
I learned almost everything I know from Alex Jones. So
Taught you how to tie a knot.
the
when you
only
go
thing
fishing?
the only thing he didn't teach me is how to go metal detecting. But other than that,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, honestly though, it's like there's a lot of things with September 11th, and there's a lot of money that was made for people, and I personally think it's more of a like they maybe let it happen kind of deal. But I don't know. It's like there's some really shaky shit about it, man.
The podcasts have continuously looked at the footage, like the Pentagon footage is another thing where they're like, like a plane hit it, and you're like, okay, let's. You take.
But where is the plane?
You take a look at the rubble.
But where is the plane?
Yeah, you take a look at the rubble, and they're like, it just all of it disintegrated, and you're like, yeah, okay, does that real? Is that a thing that actually happens where like the entire plane?
To me, it looks like a torpedo.
Yeah, it looks like missile wreckage. It's what it looks like if you were
shot from a submarine, but then
a torpedo from a submarine.
parabola into the Pentagon.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just saying. You look at
I
it.
feel like the facts are pretty clear on that.
Yeah, well, that's hard. Yeah,
that thing is just bitched.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things that like the explanations for most people are like not most, but a large part of people it's like who care more to look at it. They're like, that just doesn't seem to explain what I'm looking at.
It's like at the very least, people that are like legitimate, serious people are a little bit like, yeah, that is bizarre.
Well, the other building just collapsed because
they fell right down.
Because
it was supposed to get hit by a plane and didn't, maybe, or something like that, right?
That would be the conspiracy. They're like, we didn't hit one of them. Just press the button anyways.
Yeah. See, if I was gonna make a conspiracy that big, I would have to have Plan B.
We need the Plan B,
so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But apparently
they were all rigged with explosives just in case the planes didn't hit. So what was the third plane? How many planes on 9/11, boys?
I'm sorry, 2? I thought.
I'm not really sure. 4
planes were involved.
I was just thinking about the World Trade Center.
4 planes were involved.
I thought 2.
Yeah, 4. The one that went.
2 hit the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. 1 hit the Pentagon, but a third one crashed into a field in Virginia.
Oh, I never even heard of that.
No, the passengers took them down.
That's exactly what happened.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There's you can hear the fucking phone calls on. Fuck.
It's fucking heavy though, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I want to investigate.
Fucking heavy,
dude.
I've watched some heavy shit in my past, and I regret it every time.
If you're gonna, I would do it around this time of year, though, just because it's, it was a fucking big deal, 9/11. And, no matter what happened, I think it's important to...
I remember. Yeah, it's like...
it's important to remember.
Of every day in my entire life, I would say I remember the day 9/11 the most. I remember waking up, hearing about the Pentagon being on fire, and being like, what the fuck? I remember the girl that I walked to school with was really shook up about it. I remember the gravity...
Which girl was that?
You went to school that day?
Nobody did any work. It was on every TV. And the gravity of the situation didn't really hit me. It took me a long time to get
I didn't understand it fully when I was watching, because we were watching it in school in grade 9.
Yeah.
And I didn't fully understand the magnitude, and it became clear over the course of the day. Yeah. But I remember being not fully grasping it because I definitely wasn't really paying attention to. I didn't understand that kind of thing in that magnitude had never happened before.
You know what? You know what was the biggest news story I think before that was Columbine. There's another one that's really
That
heavy.
was 1998.
Yeah,
I think.
that was the first. That's probably the first really big news stories I remember is Columbine, right?
Yeah.
Which
They
was
tried
another fucking
to.
tragedy.
They tried to ban Marilyn Manson. Kind
Yeah.
of after that. I don't.
Yeah. You know, that was supposed to be a bombing. They were going to blow up the whole school.
Jesus
And they were gonna, but
Christ.
the bombs didn't work. Thank God. Because he
Yeah.
didn't want to be a fucking shooter. He doesn't want to be a fucking lowly mass shooter. He wanted to have a terrorist attack. He could have killed like 2,000 people.
Right.
So thank God that those bombs didn't work, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, this has been Bummer Corner on Handsome in the Dark.
God.
This is a classic conspiracy corner.
This is a good one, yeah.
You know, I did put on Portrait of an American Family the other night just to like check it out again for the first time in like fucking I don't know since I was like 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
Good album.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I've been.
It'll like creep you out. It'll make you remember things, and there's some good songs, and it's not great like front to back necessarily, but it.
Yeah.
You can tell it was a unique sound.
I haven't listened to that much Marilyn Manson.
Me neither, really. But
Yeah.
you know,
let alone
the
Portrait of
hits,
American Family.
You know the hits. Well, I think Sweet Dreams is on Portrait.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll give them Dope Show. I'll give them that song.
Really? Beautiful
like Dope
people.
Show.
Beautiful people.
I like
fucking
Dope Show.
Never mind.
that
I
song.
meant Beautiful People.
Yeah, that
Oh.
song's fucking rad.
Yeah, I meant Beautiful
Well
People.
Both of those
produced.
songs.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like pre new metal. Right?
Yeah, it was in the earliest
kind of like
phases, for
pioneered
sure.
that sound. a bit.
I actually listened to
Yeah.
one of their albums, one of those big albums, and I thought the album was like weird, like stylistically all over the place.
Marilyn
it was
Manson.
like the Marilyn Manson album I listened to. It was like kind of
Do you
metal.
remember which album?
It was. I think it had one of those singles on it, either Beautiful People or Dope Show.
Oh yeah, okay.
Probably the one with
yeah,
Beautiful People.
Beautiful
'cause that
People
his
was
most-
Antichrist Superstar.
Yeah.
I think it was that
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
it was
and
that
I think
one.
Dope Show was called the Dope Show.
It was.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a follow up that didn't do quite as well.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was a weird listen. It was never really my style. I was still listening to grunge at the time, and it wasn't.
When did that end?
Well, never.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, it was grunge was still fresh for me at the time. It
Yeah,
was still
yeah.
fresh. I was still holding on to like that being still relevant, which it wasn't at all, pretty much. But
But
like,
at that time, it had only been like 10 years since it passed.
or even
right?
5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like
five.
5 years.
Like since like later Soundgarden, or like
Yeah.
somehow like
well,
it
4 years
shifted.
since the death of Kurt Cobain, at least. That did
Yeah, if you're
that.
talking about 1998.
If you're talking about 1990.
Yeah,
for
that's-
sure. It was a
yeah.
very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Really, honestly.
Yeah.
Like when you're that young, though, it's felt like a
Those were
lifetime.
some good years that like 95, 96, 97. I think a lot of
Better than
you know,
than I gave them credit for.
you had Ahead by a Century, I think, is in there. A little
96 probably for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah. There was
what
there was
was-
lots of good music in the
what was
late
great about
90s.
97, boys? Something. There's gotta be one thing.
Maybe Madonna's Frozen.
Was that
Remember that
97?
song?
Yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
song.
The great music
What
video
year did
too.
Californication come out?
That was 99.
99, right?
Yeah. A
That's
lot
got
of
a
bands.
few songs on it. That's got a few songs on it.
I like that album.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, I like it
A lot.
front to back now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they got like I Like Dirt. Like that was a cool. Oh, and Around the World is a fucking hyped out
Around the
song,
World.
man. That's
There-
that's a
there's-
hypey song. Like, I put it on. And I'm like, like in the truck. Like if I'm about to fall asleep, I'm like, "Hey Siri, play Around the World." It's like, I'm like, "Ah!"
Yeah, you remember the music video where he's like finger banging a spirit?
No.
Remember that? What? Yeah, remember that?
No, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, the
dude.
music video. Yeah, it didn't get as much play as like because Scar Tissue came out so shortly after.
Yeah, that one
it really
is
took up
annoying.
all the space. But like, Around the World came out. It had a music video, and he's like, "There's this weird wispy, spirity chicks," and he's like fucking him, and he does like a. And he he does like a thing in the and it was like, yeah, this is
Jesus
charged.
Christ.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
I do not remember that.
yeah, that's real.
I kind of think this might be the best pod we've ever done.
Yeah, I know that. Like, I remember when Californication came out, and I was already in the Chili Peppers, but not a crazy amount. But
I've heard you say it's your favorite Chili Peppers album.
well, at the time, it definitely was. It's not anymore, but
Even
like,
in your 20s, I've heard you say that.
yeah, fair enough. There was probably times. It's a really solid album. It's 15 tracks.
You
that
you
doesn't-
sold me on that concept eventually.
I would like to
Because
just say, if somebody says
it's up there. It's really up there.
if somebody says That's my favorite Chili Peppers album. There's parentheses there.
There's parentheses.
And it's besides Blood Sugar.
Yeah.
Because, come on, Blood Sugar Sex Magic is a fucking masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
It's so long and so good.
It's so good. There's like a 2-song lull towards the end, and they're still fucking good songs.
It's not even a realistic
Would you like?
lull.
Are you talking about like Sir Psycho Sexy in that?
No,
maybe?
like the one between Apache and Sir Psycho Sexy. It's like Naked in the Rain.
Yeah, Naked in the Rain and like, is it Greeting Song?
Greeting Song. Yeah, those ones
and
aren't.
those songs, when you listen
They're
to them,
good.
the end of like one of those songs is like an amazing bass solo when the drums go crazy, and you're like,
both of those songs give me different memories of like hanging out with you guys and smoking weed back then.
Like Soul to Squeeze and Sick of Making Nico didn't make the cut onto that album.
because there was so
Soul
many
to
good
Squeeze
songs.
was involved in that.
yeah,
too.
and both those songs are fucking incredible. Like really, for the time period, for 1991.
Soul to Squeeze, absolute hit, and Sick of
Making Nico is a fucking really cool
Yeah,
sound. song.
on the Wayne's World.
It was
soundtrack.
on Wayne's World, and
Yeah.
it's so fucking lit and,
And
hype.
there are-
It's so lit, yeah.
There are other songs aside from that actually got cut. There was like 2 or 3 more songs that I heard, and I was like, okay, I understand why those songs got cut. So they released a 17-song album and then 2 singles. It was all the same session, and they had a few other songs.
and
that were
they maxed the disc out, right? Like it was like
It was like
comes in at like
70
almost 70
Yeah,
minutes.
it was as
Yeah.
much as possible.
It's
as
so
much as
it's
you can.
so good, and like I think that the Chili Peppers have had a very, 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 very serious fall from grace. I think that they've had now probably more bad albums than good albums. But
in my opinion, they didn't really. It's a little strict, but I feel like they didn't transition past 2000.
no,
that well.
I would agree. And-
By the way, was
Because-
one of the biggest disappointments I've ever
Yeah.
had.
I still
Tell me about
I'll
it.
hear a couple songs. It was a disappointment for me too at
There-
the time.
in
I
hindsight, it's
remember
a little bit better.
but there's songs on it like I hear them now. It's
Can't
been
Stop.
it's been a while.
Can't Stop is great,
And I'm
yeah.
like,
Can't
oh,
Stop.
I remember that song from that was a while ago now, and it does make it sound better somehow.
Stadium Arcadium has some decent
It
tracks.
does.
Stadium Arcadium
Tim
is
Charlie,
better.
Charlie is pretty good, and like Hump
Yeah.
to Bump is fun. I
Yeah.
just think it's like it
Well-
doesn't matter what band members leave. It doesn't matter what band members have died. It's like they just keep going. They just keep replacing them, and it's like I have a special place in my heart, and if you haven't listened to the Red Hot Chili Peppers' first 4 albums, I suggest you do, because they were a really interesting type
Very
of punk
interesting.
music. Like it was like punk and funk, and
funk.
you might not like it. Sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, it meant the world to me weirdly, because it's fucking kind of stupid. But
It's so close to my heart
the
now
way they
from how much we
transition,
listen to it.
the way
Yeah.
they transition into Blood Sugar Sex Magic is like they figured out their sound, they figured out their style, and they got produced by Rick fucking Rubin. They were living in this castle in Los Angeles
There's
together.
a documentary about that.
Yeah.
Called Funky Monks, and it's like Blood Sugar Sex Magic is a fucking masterpiece of an
Yeah.
album, and I would highly recommend it, even though I have a Red Hot Chili Peppers tattoo, and I will probably get it covered up, because when people are like, oh yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? Yeah, cool. It's like, what are you, fucking by the way, kid? Fuck out of here.
They always are too. Everyone I talk
Yeah,
to.
and that's the thing. It's like I'll go to a party and people be like, guys, like, yeah, Chili Peppers. It's like,
You pretty
do
much
like cool
you-
Chili Peppers.
to
You like
test
whack
to
Chili
test a
Peppers.
Chili Pepper fan. All you have to ask is, "Yurtle the."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before By the Way came out, I was still watching like Much Music and MTV, because that was still a thing that people did.
Yeah.
And Anthony Kiedis looked me in the eyes and he said, "If you loved Californication, you're gonna love By the Way."
He lied.
And I believed him, and
Yeah.
I was like, "This is fucked. You
Yeah.
lied. You lied to me, Anthony." And I'll just also take this moment to talk about One Hot Minute and how it gets a bad rap.
What's
for
up with that? I've
being-
heard that it's like a mistake. And
It's their
like,
third best
Didn't-
album, or
I
maybe
think
their
it's-
second best album.
This has
like
got to
the
come down
90s.
to. I think one time in an interview they said something to that effect.
Well, they didn't feel good about it because it was a weird time in their lives where John Frusciante quit the band because he was a drug addict, and Dave Navarro was kind of a weird fit personally, right? Even though he crushed it on that album, his guitar playing on that album is amazing. But they felt weird about it, and then when they got John Frusciante back, and just a few years later, they felt like it's like, a return to form for them. But like for those of us who weren't in the band, experiencing all that turmoil and just listening to the album, it was like, there's a few moments where maybe it gets a little too spacey, but like some of their best material and best solos and the most cranked energy.
and falling into gray.
For me, One Hot Minute is another front to back playable. Chili Pepper
it's
record.
long. It's, maybe there's a track or two that I understand that people don't like them, but like for the most part, it's like that is an impeccable, amazing album that just doesn't even come close
It has
anymore.
so many good songs on it.
Yeah, it's I remember reading like a Rolling Stone article, and it was ranked like the #1 most regrettable album of all time.
Again, I think that was based on like I believe it was just one interview they did, and they talked about the hard difficulties of all the things you just described.
Yeah,
I've read articles,
but like would the Chili Peppers today tell you they still regret doing that album? I don't think so.
I think they started playing a few songs from that.
Fucking good jams on that album.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it was really. Yeah, there's some incredible music in it.
Like it was.
What was
it was the last time they had like
trying to think of. There was one song on there.
Well, there's Walkabout, and there's One Big Mob,
Walkabout,
and there's
One Big
there's
Mob.
Falling Into Grace. There's this first track, Warped, which is cranked as fuck.
Warped. That's what it was.
One Big Mob. That
One
sounds
Big
fucking
Mob.
tight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it has like
One Big Mob. Oh yeah.
It has like a 2-minute chill interlude that kind of breaks the flow.
Yeah.
Right? But like when it's cranked, it's like
It's
that's as good as Chili Peppers
fucking
ever was.
cranked.
Like the drum, he's just like the whole time. The bass is like. Yeah, I hope this is translating into the podcast. My noises.
If you know
and
the
then
song,
he was like,
you know.
and he was like, diddle, 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 and he was like, good.
Tune in next week for Saul's a cappella performance of 1 Hot Minute.
I really like it when music gets cranked. As
One
fuck.
hot man does 1 hot minute.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about 90s Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, that song's a good example of some great '90s songs where they've just put two styles into one song and call it a song. Like Smashing Pumpkins did that a couple times, where it's like it's a nice rock song, and then it's like we used to have a bridge. They just go into like a 2.5 minute jam session.
Yeah, a little interlude that just kind of goes off, and
it ended up really working. It worked in the end.
I know that Chris recently was listening to Siamese Dream, and I
was listening to it a lot.
I
Yeah.
delved into it recently too, and it was like for me that's
fucking like 8 out of 10.
It's just
Solid 8 out of 10.
It sounds so good. It sounds so thick. It's like it's their best, most coherent.
The first 6 songs are like some of the best rock and roll that came out of the 90s.
Oh yeah,
It's
like the
fucking
first,
like it's like slapping you.
just
in your
Cherub
fucking
Rock.
face.
The way the album starts. Like,
Oh yeah, and then Quiet and Zero
Yeah.
and fucking. It's like
Zero's not on that album, but yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Huh?
Wait,
Sounds like
what
it could have been.
what did you say? Sorry.
Wait,
What song isn't on it?
Zero is not on.
No, Zero's
Siamese
not,
Dream,
yeah, it's
but it's the most Siamese Dream sounding song on
Weird.
Melancholy.
I feel like an idiot now.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
Fucking
it might be.
idiot.
It's all right.
But it's a really good rock album. Like those
Oh, yeah.
first like 4 or 5 songs are fucking incredible.
Yeah, and the rest of the album is great too.
It's good too.
Yeah.
It's good too. But it's like it's I think it's some of the best pure rock and roll that came out of the 90s because it's like they're not really trying to be grunge.
Yeah, the story behind the production of the album is pretty interesting. Like I think Billy Corgan.
Was Butch in as early as Gish?
Gish, he did Gish, and he did Siamese Dream.
But he didn't do Pisces Issarat or whatever?
I'm not
sorry,
sure about
who
that.
didn't?
Butch Vig.
Butch Vig. He also did Nevermind.
Right.
Yeah.
Nirvana's Nevermind.
The
He
producer.
did Garbage. He's in Garbage. He does thick rock productions. But like, I think Billy Corgan came to him with the particular big muff pedal that is the sound of Siamese Dream. And he was like, I want to do the whole album with this pedal.
And layer it 64 times.
Yeah, and Butch Vig was like, no, that's not, you can't do that. And he was like, yeah, but Billy Corgan was like, yeah, no, we're going to. And then we got the album that we heard, and it was just totally worked, and it was amazing, right? It was like something. It was like, no, you can't do that. You can't have such high gain guitar, so like that.
I remember listening to, so when I was about 8, 9, 10, whatever, that's when Melancholy came out, and obviously that's when they really hit the radio hard. Like they had Today was on the radio, Disarm was on the radio.
1979.
And then, it was like, 1979 hit, and then there was
Zero,
quite a few.
Bullet with Butterfly
Zero,
Wings.
Bullet with Butterfly Wings, fucking Tonight,
Yeah.
all these songs. So that was the first Pumpkins album I actually bought. But when I also went back and got Siamese Dream, but to me at the time, it didn't sound as developed, which it isn't.
Yeah, I
went for
Yeah.
Melancholy, but
We were
today,
young, right?
today, I feel like the sound of Siamese Dream is there's even more to discover in it.
It's an album I could listen to once a week. Like
Totally.
for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna prescribe myself more Siamese Dream.
That'll be your
forward.
homework for next week.
That's everyone's homework.
Yeah.
So if you could, the listener, we're trying to switch up our content a little bit instead of just talking about my dick and jerking off all the time. We were thinking maybe we talk about shit like this.
You like hearing about music. I personally can talk about it for fucking forever. I love the music that I love.
Yeah, you gave some facts there about the album. We talked about our opinions. If you could just give us some feedback on it, that would be great.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Some albums, man. I threw on Punk and Drublick the other day.
That's a hell of an album.
And I turned it on max volume, and now I was like,
that's how it's supposed to be played. By the way,
yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be fucking cranked, and it was fucking impeccable. I was like, this album for a punk album, it was like, it was in that sweet spot in the '90s where they were trying to produce a really high quality, good sounding thing, but yet it was still like authentically punk sounding in a way. Yeah. And it's just like, it's such a good album. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Something I do throw on actually more often than you'd think. And
it's not very long because the songs are like a minute and a half.
It's not a long album, and we used to talk about this too, that the first half of the album is like so fucking solid and so banger, and then it dips a little bit.
It does kind of.
But the more I listen to it, the more I accept that both halves of the album are different, but I like to listen to the whole album now.
I did too. Yeah. The last time I threw it on, I listened through the whole thing, and I was like, you know what? I gave the second half of the album a little bit harder of a time than I needed to. But
it's really
I should take
good.
a video one time of myself alone in my bedroom, drunk as fuck, with Punk and Drublick on, and I'm like on my bed, I'm like, "What is the guy's over?"
Crying, just like.
That is how I cry.
Yeah. It's like, it's so fast and good.
Yeah.
Well, music talk.
Music talk. Let us
pretty
know.
cool.
Some feedback would be nice.
Yeah, and
feedback would be nice.
Again, like Handsome in the Dark podcast @J. That is our email address, right? Because I don't think we've received a single email, so I just want to make sure.
We got an email Alex's butt one time. But
we got a butt pic one.
Okay, so it does work. We're giving people the right address.
And
that's good.
And follow us on Instagram, Handsome in the Dark podcast.
That's
in the Dark
right.
podcast on Instagram, and listen to us on most podcast platforms.
Yeah, I've been putting up some clips recently on the Instagram. We have like a 10-minute clip of the haikus that Bruno does.
Oh, that was
which
great.
is like
that was great, by the way.
It's long, but it's also like there's some gems in there.
It's really good.
That
it's
guy's
really
fucking good at haikus.
Like the last episode, but it's actually different haikus. It's a different haiku thing. Or it's two now. There's two.
There's two of them. I called it haikus too.
Yeah, and there's some that aren't in episodes. So, that's because, there's lots of stuff. We've done lots of episodes we haven't released because they were shaky as fuck.
But if you think, that if you like the way we review things, or even if you hate it, give us something to review.
As long as
you
you're
can give us
engaged
anything you want.
and hating us.
Anything. Send us a picture of your dick.
Yeah.
Do anything you want with our email.
We got to do that. That's some homework too. We got to take pictures of our dicks, and the next time we have Chloe in here, she's gonna guess whose dick it is.
Yeah,
we're still doing that, eh?
We'll do Chloe too.
Yeah,
I felt weird about it the next day because I was drinking on that podcast, and I thought it was a really good idea.
This is a good level of drunk.
But apparently it is a really good idea.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm willing to do. My penis
I
is
might
fine.
do something to trick her, though. Is that okay?
Yeah, well, she knows what mine looks like.
Anyway. Well, you can't be in it then.
She's not like.
I still want to see though.
Unless,
if it was the three of us, she's not,
And this is going to be
like she would be like, okay, well, I know that Saul's not circumcised and that Tyler said he was, so this is probably Tyler. Although when they're bona fide, they're all the same.
This might be pushing the rules of Twitch more than we ever did, but there could be a version of that podcast where the dicks are shown, but it can't be on Twitch.
Well, yes, that's true. But you can't put it on.
But you would have to.
That's a Patreon thing, buddy.
Basically, you'd have to get in on that paywall, and we're going to talk about that. And we've got some announcements coming up.
Oh, certainly.
Oh yeah.
Certainly.
Cool.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, there's big things coming down the pipe, buddy.
People like to hear that.
We're starting an OnlyFans with big things going down pipes, like.
Hey, they reversed the OnlyFans thing, right?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, because that's all
Did
it's
that
known
take
for.
effect yet?
What?
Like when
they decided to still allow adult content.
Yeah, they changed.
Oh,
their
they
mind.
ended up reversing
very
it.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, I didn't
Because-
hear that news.
because
It was
obvious
quick, man.
reasons.
It was like 3 days.
Like most people, when they heard that they were going to take off pornographic material on OnlyFans, people were like, "There's other things besides that on there."
yeah.
You know, I thought that's what the entire platform was. Apparently, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it's basically a Patreon,
Yeah.
but they allow.
But they allow that. So it's going to obviously go to that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
these are things, maybe we could explore that now. We could also save it for next time, like how much pornography is okay for there to be on the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that
These are
it's-
questions we have to think about.
The thing about OnlyFans is that it's really nice. It's like it's a pretty safe platform for women. It's like they don't have to meet up with a skeezy producer. They don't have to be put into unsafe situations. They can be doing it from their own home. They can be making their own content and making more of the profit from it instead of just getting paid $500 for the day. They might be able to make 10, 12 grand a month more. Right. And I think that's something about it that really was like empowering to people doing it. And it's like, it was safe.
yeah,
right?
safety is good.
Safe. And it's like the people doing it should be the people doing the labor should be the ones getting the fucking bank.
Oh, another thing on the smokers party platforms: bring brothels. I want legal brothels.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I want legal
Just 'cause?
brothels. What do you mean? Just
what does that
'cause?
have to do with smoking?
It's freedom.
You can
I
smoke.
don't know.
You can smoke in the brothels because
You
they're
can
like
smoke in
18
there.
and
That's
up.
one of the places you can smoke.
You're blurring the lines between what the smoker party is about and freedom.
Maybe I'm expanding it too.
He's talking about freedom.
We do believe in freedom, but that's not what the party's about. All right?
Well, it's about
I'm sorry.
smoking.
I'm
freedom.
sorry. It's your party.
All right.
I
Well,
shouldn't-
it's I mean, I want to bring people in, but it's on the party. I mean, I'm just thinking it's
so
like,
you're already making
it's like-
crooked moves.
Okay, no. These are what I would consider popular. I think most people I know would prefer to have brothels.
I think,
then going
honestly,
to
it
the
is
streets.
and
it's
a-
safer for the women.
It's a popular and safe idea
Yeah,
that
it's
is
popular.
no longer legal.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
legal, but it should be.
I think it should
it's
be
good
too.
for everybody.
Yeah, it should.
You know, you show up
absolutely
to
be.
an actual location where they can have security and rooms and fucking.
I mean, it's
you know,
it would work here. It doesn't work in places like other countries, like Mexico or whatever, because like those houses are run by gangs and shit, and
Well,
like, it gets
yeah.
dark fast.
That's not part of the platform.
oh okay.
There are no gangs. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't.
No
I'm sorry,
gangs.
Yeah,
so you're
no,
gonna be
that's
gonna be tough on crime in this
well,
party.
no, just a loose.
See, these are the questions you might get asked though. If you ever have
tough
to
on crime. That's how you're gonna get those votes. Yeah.
Well, people do
on
like
crime,
being tough on crime.
Yes on brothels and yes on smoking, but not everywhere. But
I mean, I expanded it with
responsible smoking.
I expanded
Smoke
it
rooms.
with the bring
Yeah.
back phone booths. That's not smoking related.
Dude, that's like 5 platform items.
That's pretty
Popular
good.
ones. I
Pro
hope.
phone booth.
Pro
And
phone booth.
people remember phone booths.
Well, not everybody has a phone or even wants to have
Here's
one.
what you
Why
have to
can't they
do.
make a call?
You know what? This is an idea that I shouldn't even say.
Okay.
But we could maybe save it for the next podcast. Or what are we going to do now? Because, is it over? It's been over an hour.
This podcast, I think it's drawing to a natural conclusion. Yeah, I feel pretty good about what we have on paper.
Oh, totally. We
Yeah.
can take that. We're going to take a break or possibly stop.
That's
Yeah.
the awkward thing we didn't discuss because we have a new format. We have a new format for the podcast, which is for the first hour, basically our plan is to do our thing, not streaming necessarily to people, but then we're going to come back after a break and then
The first hour was going to
Sorta
be
try
like
and-
a traditional podcast, and then after that,
It's like looser. Yeah,
it's looser. And we're
chill,
gonna- and
chill a little more with everyone. We'll
Yeah.
all talk to the chatters.
So then,
and chat.
if you go into if you're like watching live, you get kind of more content, right? As opposed to if you're
Yeah.
listening to it on Spotify,
absolutely, Get
which I
more-
think is great because we're
Yeah.
what's our Twitch thing? You
well,
can-
twitch.tv/handsome in the dark.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, if you're listening on Spotify, there's usually more
Yes.
content and it's way more loose and it's like right after these conversations.
Yeah.
So you can check us out live. I guess we're doing that every Saturday now.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
this is
trying
the
to do
first
that.
time
you
we
know.
were trying to implement the format and sloppy because we're not professional. But
It worked out pretty good last week. And
it's like,
yeah.
how do we say goodbye now and
I think it's a-
yeah.
confuse
Say
the
this-
people who are watching?
This concludes the podcast. This
Yeah.
section.
This concludes the podcast
podcast
Yes.
portion of our stream pod.
Bye,
of
guys.
our stream pod.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming.
But- Okay.
But not actually goodbye to people who are here.
You know, and stay tuned for just a free for all.
So-
We understand
So
our
the-
format.
I kind of gotta
Yeah.
go
Oh, you have to go.
a little bit. I can do 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, but let's go. Let's take our little
We're gonna
break.
take a little break.
We're gonna
Here's
take
what
a
we're
little
doing.
break,
Here's what
guys.
we're doing. We're taking a break. We're ending the Spotify
Yeah.
stream, the Spotify podcast.
Podcast that we're ending, yeah. Probably we're gonna cut this.
But then there's
Well-
extra content coming after.
There's
yeah,
more.
that's what happens on Twitch, boys. It goes a little deeper.
That's what you get if you tune in.
We
live.
should have thought this through more, but it's still a sweet idea for tonight. So
we talked about
I
it.
understand what it is. I just can't
Me too.
articulate it.
we
very
have
well.
to make other people understand. That's going to be a problem for
Right.
us.
They need to understand.
Okay, if you're listening to the podcast on a podcast platform,
This is where it ends.
thank you
Yes.
for listening to our podcast. You know, and then if
For
you're
those
if
who are
you're
here
on
live-
Twitch, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
So if you want more of this sweet content, yeah, check us out on Twitch every Saturday.
Okay. And just a last note: Smokers Party of Canada, freedom never looked so cool. There's this weird wispy, spirity chicks, and he's like fucking him, and he does like a, and he he does like a thing.